What's up, Dave?
How's it going, Kendal? You doing
Great.
all right?
Yeah, how are you?
Can't complain. Just how is this preseason camp going? I know that you had the offense pretty much installed before you started. So what was kind of the overall goal of this preseason camp?
Yeah, just developing guys, and obviously there's a ton of, competition at really all positions. And so, putting those guys on the field, letting them play football, and making sure we're getting the best 11 guys on the field. So there's been a ton of competition. I think it's been a very workmanlike camp. I mean, the guys have been dialed in every day. There hadn't been a day where we have to jumpstart them as coaches. They've gotten out there. They've wanted to work and get better and competed at a very high level. So that's been really good to see. So I've been pleased with fall camp. Offensively, obviously we kind of felt like we knew what our personnel was, and then you work through the summer and continue to make sure we're putting guys in the best positions to be successful. So continually done that. We got great coaches, so still working right now. 10 days away to get those guys in the right position.
Jack in the middle.
Hey, Kendal, how do you feel like the offense looked through the first two scrimmages here with the way you guys were able to run the offense? Did everything feel like it was being, run the way you would have it in a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's never the way that you always want it. There's always going to be little details and things that you want to be better. But overall, the mechanics and the processing of the information that the guys are receiving and being able to get lined up and play, with tempo and then obviously have the ability to execute at a high level. So, there were times we did that. We got some good players on defense that make it hard on us at times, but the competition level has been outstanding out there on the field. So I've been pleased with the scrimmages, and obviously those allow us to coach things up and get better.
Hale in the back right.
How do you feel like the progress is up front on the line, and are you guys at a point now where you feel like you can hone in on 6, 7, however many you feel like you got to start getting ready for next weekend?
Yeah, progress has been great. Those guys have been battling all through, spring, summer workouts, and into fall camp. We'd like to have, like you're saying, 7 or 8 guys that we're going to be able to roll in. And if you had 5, just bona fide dudes that you couldn't take off the field, then, you'd leave them there. And I don't know if we're at that point right now. We still got guys that are really battling for those positions and getting on the field. And, that's good. It creates an edge in the room. And Coach Clements, Coach Smooth, done a heck of a job coaching those guys up and making sure we're getting those guys in the right position and getting our best 5 on the field.
Elijah on the right side here.
More of a philosophical question here. I know some offensive coordinators like to define balance that they want to achieve by running the ball versus passing the ball a certain amount of times or spreading it out across the field. But for you specifically, how do you try to achieve balance within an offense?
Yeah, for us, we have, a lot of mixed plays, RPO plays, and so a lot of times, the defense determines, whether that is a run or a throw, and so, we can call those plays and base down situations, even third down situations, and, it kind of depends on what the defense is doing that determines where the ball is going. But, productivity over balance always, if you can protect the ball and move the ball and sustain drives and stay on the field and convert when you need to convert, keep the defense on the sideline and let them make adjustments, then, that's production.
David on the left.
Kendal, since you've known Linares, has he ever expressed any disappointment with his individual performance last year?
Last year? No, we really hadn't talked about last year. He's highly competitive, and there's been times where he's, disappointed with a read or a throw. But a guy that's played a lot of snaps, you can't let that linger. It's like playing corner. You got to forgive that last play and line up and play the next one. So he's done that.
Jack in the middle.
What have you seen out of DJ Black since you've gotten to know him, and just what are the ways you feel like you're able to get the most out of him with his skill set?
Yeah, DJ's continually gotten better. Coach Furry does a tremendous job with the receivers. It's a highly competitive room. We got guys fighting and battling to get on the field, and DJ he's right up there with all of them. I've been very pleased with him. He's got some long speed. He can really stretch the field. He's got some edge in the run game. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up. His information processing has been really good. In the spring there were times where he had a lot of misalignments, and I hadn't seen that in the fall camp. So I think he's done a really good job of studying and obviously just playing more football and getting comfortable with the offense. So I've been really pleased with him. I think he's going to be a big threat for us.
Jordan in the front right.
Might be a dumb question, but how do you, what are the benchmarks to know that the tempo in practice is what you want to see? I mean, are you at all timing between plays, how many plays you want to run? How do you know that it's at the spot you want it to be?
Yeah, I really don't have anything where I do that at practice. A lot of the practices, because you're trying to work on different things, are scripted, and you're going, against a defense, and you're working on different situations down and distance. So you've kind of built in those situations. So a lot of it's just not a call it situation where you're able to go with tempo. And so that was really key with some of the practices that we did get to be able to do that and work our tempo and the mechanics of it, and the linemen lining up, playing fast, guys having to see down and distance, and all those things. And then obviously the scrimmages. And really the only way to tempo is to be good on first down and to continually move the ball and stay on the field and wear the defense out. And, with the game and the way that it's changed, the officials will hold you up at times. If you get anywhere near the sideline, they're probably going to hold it up. And so obviously we're very, very cognizant of that. And so at times we'll huddle if we need to, and the rest of the time we'll be going.
Alex in the middle.
Coach Beamer and Coach Drain have mentioned wanting to see somebody take ownership in that running back room. Is that something that you've seen, and just kind of your overall thoughts on what you saw from all the running backs?
Yeah, Coach Drayton does a great job with those guys. I feel like we have 5 real SEC running backs. Feel really comfortable with really anybody taking the field. Obviously, Matt Fuller, we feel like could be the guy that is maybe most explosive out of the group. And Matt's had a great fall camp. And then, the rest of those guys are nipping at his heels, and everybody's battling and fighting to get on the field. So really pleased with the guys that we have in the room. Jabri Coleman's a young guy that's really stepped up in fall camp. And then, obviously Christian, Jawarn, and Isaiah. So there's a lot of competition in that room to get the football.
David on the left.
Kendall, a lot of times people look at a non-conference opponent first game and say, well, they might hold back a few plays for that first game, not sure everything. Is that a real phenomenon, especially when you're coming into a new place, that you might try to hold something back?
No, Lord, no. I mean, we're doing everything we can to go win the football game. I can promise you that. The way that college football is nowadays, with the way the rosters turn over, everybody's got really good people. Luckily for us, we're playing at Williams-Brice right across the road, and I can't wait to get in there and hear 80,000 fans screaming, and it'll be the first time I've been in there in a game day. So, Kent State's got to deal with that a little bit, but they're going to be a good football team coming in here thinking that obviously they're going to go win the football game. And so we got to be really, really sharp, and we got to take that hope away from them early.
Jack in the middle.
Do you know yet if you'll be calling plays from the field or up in the box? And is there a benefit to one over the other?
I'll be on the field, and that's where I like to be, just to be around the players and feel the energy of the game, look guys in the eye. That's where I'm most comfortable, so I'll be down on the field.
Jalen in the back left.
Hi, Kendall. How have you grown as a coach from the start of fall camp up until now, leading into week 1?
How have I grown as a coach? It's really just growing with the personnel, as a football coach. Obviously, learning the way things work around here, with Coach Beamer and the scheduling and everything, you're always, trying to figure out, what's next. He does a great job of giving us in detail schedules of what's coming up. That way all the coaches can prepare for those type of situations. So it's been a really smooth transition. It has. He does an incredible job with the culture of the program. So you really haven't had to work on that. It's just more for me is, really getting to know the personnel on offense and, not just for what they can do on the field, but as a person and what makes them tick, and all of us just pouring into our guys and helping them develop. So, that's been the most fun thing for me being here, is just learning a whole new, set of people to get to know and, see if we can get all together on the same page and go out there and get a win.
Last question, Hale in the back right.
At tackle, who are the main handful of guys that you guys are working with right now? And obviously Jacarius will be back at some point, but who's sort of in that mix at this point?
Yeah, there's 4 guys that are working in there. Dane Arnett, Seth Surratt's in there, Seth Smith, and then Darius Gray's also working out there at tackle as well. Those guys are all battling out so we can get, what we feel like is the 2 best. And then if we need to rotate some guys, we'll rotate them.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank y'all.